I'm really excited to play the weekly final. I love all the people that's in the darts, and yeah, also the game is just very interesting. The most memorable match would probably be against Chris Dobie in Birmingham. I happened to win the tournament there.
6 points for the day might become 8. Game shot,
and it's sealed on double.
How many 9 darts have I hit? Only 1 in-game, obviously, on the Challenge Tour, and 3 on practice.
Well, he's only 22 though, and we don't know where his career is going to go from here, but he looks really comfortable up there.
180!
I did remember my first 180. It was when I was 16. The emotions that got into me, I instantly went to my dad. I brought him to my board and said, I hit a 180.
He might finish this off. Not just the game, but the group.
It's double 8. And Jamai abandoned him.
Winning Group A really meant a lot, especially after seeing Group B, and I've said that already. What am I pleased with this week? With how I played. I mean, the good games were there, and I'm glad that I got to show them. What would get into me if I won the title? Oh, I would probably cry on stage. It would mean the world.
Hello and welcome back to the Tungsten Talk series, where we delve into the lives of many a dart player who play here at the MODUS Super Series, and in particular live on Pluto TV. Today we're going to have a chat with this young man, Jamai van den Herik, maybe a new name to some of the people in the wider spectrum of darts. But Jamai, thank you for joining us here this evening. It's going to be interesting to get your story to this point, because how long have you been playing darts? You're only 22 years of age, but have you been playing for a long time?
Well, competitively, I have been playing since I was 16, so 6 years now. And I've been playing Dev Tours since I got 16 and got invited by a friend of mine to play on the Youth World Champion qualifier in Leeuwarden, it was back then. And it worked out. I qualified myself for the World Championship for the youth, and then I started my career.
Tell us about what it's like living in the Netherlands with so many superstars to follow in the footsteps of, like Michael van Gerwen, Raymond van Barneveld, Danny Noppert, Dirk van Dijvenbode. There are so many to talk about, but when you were growing up, who was the person who really made you want to play this game?
To be fair, not really any great player that's out there. I enjoyed playing the game when I started, so I wanted to go big in it. And when I started watching, it was like when I was 18. So I didn't really have someone to look up to, except for my good playing friends back then.
That's actually quite refreshing to hear, isn't it, Matt? Because a lot of people, they get into the sport because they see it on TV, they hear it and see it in different social media outlets. But obviously, Jamai's experience is quite organic and quite local to mean that he's got into the game because it was there and it was there to play.
Very different, isn't it, to the traditional UK story, shall we say, which is went to the pub with my dad or my granddad used to play and we got into it that way, or there's a dartboard up at home. I can certainly sort of relate to this story as well, because my story was very, very similar in the fact of just stumbling across it on a family day out in Blackpool. Oh, there's a dartboard, I like this. And then you actually find there's a bit of a story there in that as well. So the fact he was actually playing for 2 years before even realising any of the other stories that was out there or any of those inspirations, I suppose that was quite a nice sort of scenario and a nice feeling, because you go, I like this, but how many things do we like in our lives that don't actually get the opportunity of turning into a career, or there's not the pathways that are made and developed now that you can sort of go out there and earn a lifestyle?
We know what it's like here in the UK, Jamai, for young kids going to academies and maybe even to youth clubs when they're very small to try and get better and to learn how to play the game with other people. Tell us about what it's like for a 16 or 17-year-old kid in the Netherlands to play darts at the level that you were playing at.
Well, when I was 16, I just went to the pub like almost every day during the midweeks, to practice there for a couple of hours and then go back home and tell my mom how it went. And yeah, that's pretty much how I did it.
Did someone notice that you were pretty good at this and then recruit you for maybe playing in a team?
Eventually, yeah. People were watching me hit 180s back then. I didn't hit them often as I do now, but it was nice to hear that people were noticing what I did.
Moving forward, and maybe going into when you were 17 or 18, there were obviously plenty of opportunities. The NDB do some great work with getting young stars on the right path. They've done that with the likes of Jeffrey Desvan and with Jan van Veen and some others. Did they have a big bearing on you getting better?
I didn't play NDBs back then because there was COVID happening, so I wanted to play youth when I knew NDB existed. COVID happened and I kind of lacked the training during COVID as well. I just got lazy in between. And yeah, so NDB only got into me when I was 18, 19, okay. But I didn't really follow the whole rankings either. Only a couple of tournaments here and there.
So what was it that really got you wanting to go more to development tour events, maybe travel a little bit more and to try and get better at the sport?
I don't really know. I think my mom really supported me throughout all the years. And because of this, I wanted to push forward as well. I kept practicing when I knew it was getting worse. And I just wanted to keep playing.
It's interesting, isn't it, Matt? Because when we talk to some young stars these days, there is a close relationship between the player and the parent. That's really, really good because this game can form a bond between generations. And that parental advice can sometimes be key as to where the player goes.
Certainly, mentorship's massive right now in the sport of darts because it's changing. But what's happening, I was just sitting and listening and analysing and sort of trying to pick bits out. And I think what's really interesting about this story and this journey up to now is it's not been extrinsically motivated in any way, shape or form. Because this was a journey that started as a 16-year-old who was doing something for fun. And like you said, there was inspiration to go out and play the development tour. Oh, I don't really know. I just wanted to play. It wasn't, oh, I want to try and get to the World Championships. I want to try and get a tour card. I want to try and get these riches. I want to try and do this and win these titles. It was, I just want to play this game more. And if you can keep sight of that, and if you can keep that sort of mentality where it's fun, because that's what we lose very much and very quickly. We both walked that road. And the second you go, right, this is my sole source of income, this is how I'm going to support myself, the fun goes. And it becomes a job, it becomes a pressure, it becomes a lifestyle. And when you're not out there for that reason, and you're out there for the reason of I'm going to enjoy what I'm doing, I can imagine it's so much more easy.
Absolutely, I completely agree. And Jamai, I want you to tell us, who was the first really big name player that you came across when you were playing in the Netherlands, and what was that like?
What do you mean with really big?
As in someone that everybody would know, maybe know their name. Someone, I don't know, like maybe Jelle Klaassen. Did you come across him in the cafe culture or the pub culture in the Netherlands? Someone of that note, someone that is very well known.
I mean, people should know Wesley plays here as well. I play with him a lot. I mean, on tournaments when I saw him, and Danny van Tripp as well. So they are really good players, and I really looked up to them when I was the younger age.
You're 22 now, but obviously in the last couple of years you've kept playing, you've kept learning, and now we're learning about you at a very, very fast rate because 2025, everything seems to have changed. We saw you on the roster for this week here at the MODUS Super Series in advance of you making the final on the Challenge Tour and winning that title. Tell us about that day. How was it before everything started?
It was unreal. Like, I was just hoping to play. Obviously, I wanted to play good players on the day and see if I can beat them, which happened. Also, the 9 darts, it felt unreal, and I was just lost for words. It really made me happy as well at the end of the day.
You achieved that 9 darter in the later stages of that tournament, in the first leg of the game. That must have been quite the thrill, but you didn't lose the game. You didn't get lost. You were able to have the perfect leg and still win the game.
Yeah, I did celebrate a little bit, not with a noise, just the movement with my fist and just thinking about what I just did. And then I was like, okay, but I still have a game to play. And I just kept playing.
You would obviously go on to win the title, beating Graham Hall in the final, a very highly respected player at this level of darts. Tell us about the emotions when you were winning that challenge to a title.
I was just lost for words. I didn't know what happened. I knew I won a challenge tour, and the emotions came out when I went outside with my friends. With Jimmy, he walked with me, some other guys, and my dad called me later as well. And he was with people on a tournament, and they congratulated me, and I was just, lost for words.
Tell us about Jimmy Van Schie, because in this place, Jimmy is pretty much darting royalty in these parts. Tell me what Jimmy has told you about this place before you came here.
He didn't really tell me anything about the place. He just told me to enjoy being here and just try to play my games as I did, which I'm grateful. He is also a really good mentor for me. He's messaging me when it's going bad, and he's always there for me.
At the time of recording this, obviously you have won your debut group, 20 points in Group A. You've won that. You're looking forward to your first Saturday night. What are your impressions of Portsmouth? What are your impressions of your first experience here?
Yeah, it's great. I'm so glad that I won the group, especially after seeing Group B. 2 days off for me, I think it was not really good because I didn't really know what to do. But I did try to enjoy it with Kevin in the mornings and Scott as well before he had to play. Spending time here is good, yeah. And I'm just really looking forward to Saturday.
Let's just dial it back a little bit. We know that Saturday is imminent, but when winning a Challenge Tour event, that comes with other possibilities. Getting called up for the PDC Pro Tour, maybe well ahead of schedule, that must feel like something that is right in your road now, something that you can possibly get this year.
Yeah, for sure. But I just hope my work cooperates with me.
What kind of work do you do? Because I'm sure everybody would want to know. When we've talked to, in the past, some of the Dutch talents, they have to balance work with the amount of darts they play. How difficult is that for you?
I mean, they do give me a lot of time off for the darts, so I'm really grateful for them. But it is difficult, especially because we work in seasons. I work in a clothing company, in a warehouse, so now it's just a quiet period. So lucky to be here.
Matt, it's very difficult to juggle many different things in your life, no matter what you're doing. But if you are a talented dart player and you have a job as well, a lot of Dutch dart players would side with the fact that at some point, if it keeps getting better, there has to be a choice somewhere in the future.
Yeah, we've had this conversation about many players in the past, haven't we? But you tend to find the workplaces get a little bit more lenient, don't they, as you sort of go up the rankings a little bit? Because, I mean, look at Robert Owen at the World Championship. He's meant to be off delivering freezer products in between the event. But they soon changed the tune, didn't they, when you started getting through and getting a bit of press and things. So that kind of helps the scenario a bit. It's just the modern world of darts, though. It's a ruthless sport. It's a don't win, don't get paid nature. So a lot of the time when you're going up, you do need to have some form of backup, some form of security, because it is life, it's real life. You know, we need a living, we need a way to pay the bills, which is why I think we all wish we was all 22 again, really, don't we? And have that sort of freedom where we haven't got mortgages and children and all those sort of costs. So the time is now.
Take that advice from Matt. Stay at 22 as long as you possibly can, Jamai. But as far as the rest of this year is concerned, is it just about gaining this experience, keeping with playing in different promotions and keeping the enjoyment as well?
Yeah, for sure. I just want to play as many good players as I can, play as many high tournaments as I can, and enjoy the game as it is for now.
Are there any ambitions for the rest of 2025? Is there anything that you've really thought of, I can do that, or this is something I want to do?
I mean, obviously, as I'm still here, I want to win this week as well, but it's going to be a difficult task. Besides that, I hope I can play more pro tours as well.
Who's had the biggest influence on your career today? Is it a player? Is it parents? Is it someone who's given you sponsorship? Who is the person at this stage who has been the most influential for you?
I think it's definitely my mom, because she's always so supportive and she allows me to go anywhere I want to go for tournaments. So
that's really nice to hear, and we definitely condone the fact that great parenting can rear such a great dart player. Jamai, all the very best with you in your future. We hope to see you many times. Matt, thanks for your time. That was the Tungsten Talk with Jamai van den Herik. This is just the start of the story, so stay tuned for it.